Today's story was going around on the WhatsApp, a little story with Rabbi. So here's the background to the story. It's a Montreal connection. It's a word for Rabbi. It's a word that everybody was laughing. It's a word that he said at the Sheva Brachas of a Bochus, name is Skirder, Mendy Skirder, who was used to eat often by Rabbi, as many some Bochum did. Anyway, what's the Montreal connection? And the connection to my wife, to Nechama, and my in-laws. In 1967, so Zalman Shazar, the first president of Israel, visited America. And he visited the Rebbe. Yeah, it was his first visit. And I'm not sure he went to Montreal first or later. I don't know what came first, I could find out. But that was the 67 was the expo. And he came to Montreal as a dignitary, head of state, and visited the Israeli pavilion. So when he came here, the Rebbe instructed, so this is the story. So that's the background. What's the connection to my family, to Nechama, to my in-laws, that there was a whole reception here. Rabbi Peretz Mochkin greeted him in the hotel, Rabbi Kramer, and other senior Chassidim here.
Rabbi Handel.
Who? Rabbi Handel, yeah.
Only three.
Yeah, okay, so Chaim, there's pictures of it. And Nechama, all of 4 years old, presented Mrs. Shazar with a bouquet of flowers, and your parents were there too, and your grandparents, right? Chaim.
I'm not sure.
I think they're also part of this delegation that received him. Anyway, so back to the Sheva Brachas. So Yael's talking, just an excerpt, and someone asks him, how do you apply this to the self? How do you apply it to the self? So Yael says, applying it to the self, this is God Ashvera in you. That's already whether that's already a different, but that's where the real work is. That's already a lot harder than the theory. And then he chuckles and he says like this. And it's the story that he tells. It's a cute little story with it. He says, so when Shazar was in Montreal, the Rebbe sent a delegation from him, from the Rebbe, representing him to be there. Who was sent? Rabbi Chadekov, the Rebbe's personal secretary, Rabbi Shlomo Aaron Kazanovsky, one of the senior Chassidim of the time, a very wonderful and great man, who had come to America back in 1927, and was on the executive board of Chabad of Lubavitch from the times of the previous Rebbe, Chassidic Chabad, in Americas and so on. He was a Rav in a shul. A very wonderful man. So a patriarch of a famous family in Lubavitch. So the Rebbe said again, Rabbi Chadekov, Rabbi Kazanovsky, and Yoel. So Yoel says it was the first time he was on a plane. He had come to America on a boat in 1951. And I was on a plane. So he said he was sitting next to Chadekov on the plane. And he says he couldn't buckle the seatbelt. So Rabbi Chadekov, it's comical. Rabbi Chadekov leans over and buckles Yoel. He does his seatbelt. And then Rabbi Chadekov then said, I think it's Rabbi Chadekov that said, it sounds like, it appears that it's easy in Yiddish, verbinden jenen wie verbinden sich. It's easier to tie up the other guy, restrict, in other words, place restrictions, limit whatever it is, avoida, than to limit the self. To apply it to the self, that's easy. So to preach it and to tell the other person what he or she should do, that's easy. But to apply it and to change oneself, that to Kabbalah Sil, in other words, take one in hand and do what one has to do, that's a different matter altogether. And of course, that's what's required. So that was the story that the Biel told a story. That little vote he told that the Fabrengen it's floating around now on the WhatsApps since Abio's passing. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Shkoyach.
God willing, tomorrow. Chaim, guten Tag, everybody have a good day. Aaron, Sid, Mordechai.